A very good evening to you. Thank you for keeping us company. We are glad to be at your service. I am Ondiro Ganga, ready to bring you up to speed with all the news causing waves across the globe. And as you know, we're all about business. Here's a glance of all the news making headlines in the business world. First Kenya International Industrial Expo 2018, all efforts towards a manufacturing nation.
So welcome at the visitors.
County Executive Committee member for health.
Managed Equipment Service Project, aging closer to UHC.
Why go global?
OCT Conference 2018. What does it take to go global?
Understand your product and services.
The first Kenya International Industrial Expo, organized by GIM Africa Exhibitions Limited in partnership with China Information and Culture Communication Company Limited and with the full support of the Kenya Investment Authority, was officially opened at the Laiko Regency Hotel in Nairobi today. The main focus of the expo is the manufacturing sector, a pillar in the Big Four agenda. Our reporter Daisy Wambo attended the opening and brings us the following story.
The Industrial Expo is inspired by the Kenya Big Four agenda and more specifically manufacturing. Speaking while officially opening the event, the Deputy Director, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Cooperatives, Patricia Aura, was quick to acknowledge that China is a significant player in the country's economy as it has made significant investments in various sectors.
And China is a significant player in Kenya's economy, and we know that China has made major investments in infrastructure, trading, telecommunications, equipment, chemicals, and manufacturing.
She pointed out the need to provide a conducive environment for investment and businesses as she outlined the country's transformation agenda.
Offering a conducive environment for investment and business will be the way to sustain our microeconomic sustainability, as this is the foundation for our growth. Kenya's economy has been growing, and we have a big transformation agenda that includes creating a conducive business environment and investing in social transformation, infrastructure, quality and accessible social services, and consolidating gains made in devolution.
The Councillor of Economic and Commercial Councillor's Office of the Embassy of China to Kenya, Guanzi, highlighted the trade ties between the two countries.
The economic trade ties between Kenya and China have gone on for a while because China is the largest trade partner and origin of investment in infrastructure and construction projects.
He went on to state that the establishment of over 400 Chinese business enterprises has provided employment opportunities to the locals.
The Chinese enterprises are now running the largest job opportunities in the country and are employing the locals, as there are more than 400 business enterprises in Kenya.
We don't charge investors. There is no corruption there.
Investors were highly encouraged to invest in the country and help the country attain food security by boosting agricultural production from the unproductive lands using smart agricultural mechanisms.
We therefore invite investors and draw their attention to these priority areas, asking them to engage with us so that we can invest in specific projects that will meet these four areas. If the investors have other interests outside the Big Four, our Vision 2030 also presents other attractive opportunities in trade, oil and mining, the blue economy, ICT, and financial services. On food security, we are looking at increased agricultural production from the land which is currently underproducing, post-harvest management technologies, and investors are encouraged to help us in this matter of smart agriculture and mechanization.
As the Kenya International Industrial Expo gets underway, it brings with it a glimmer of hope that someday soon, Kenya will be in the League of Industrialized Nations. For Brand Plus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
The Institute of Economic Affairs Kenya, in partnership with the Open Society Institute of East Africa, today held a meeting at the Sarova Stanley Hotel, Nairobi, to discuss and demystify the Managed Equipment Service Project, or simply put, MES, for a more informed public discourse. The meeting was also aimed at enhancing understanding of the emerging health financing alternatives, but also to promote transparency and accountability in the sector. Take a look.
What's the experience around the...
Among the challenges that county stakeholders attribute to MES project is human resource capital.
Most of the MES equipment are actually in use. But we've had a few challenges. We had delays in commissioning or operationalizing of most of those equipment because of human resource challenges. Like in Kajiado, we had the renal unit equipment being delivered about 2 years ago. We could only commission that this year, early this year, because we didn't have a renal nurse. We were placed under Moi Teaching Referral Hospital as a mentor hospital. And you know, Kajiado na Eldoret, ziko mbali sana. Yeah. But we managed to actually train our own nurse. Previously, before my current role, I was in the County Public Service Board. And I remember us, advertising for a renal nurse, and we didn't even get a single response, which means we actually had a shortage of renal nurses in Kenya. So we had to train our own, which took us about 1 year. We trained our physician and other medical officers to be able to manage that unit, so we could only commission it early this year.
There's someone who had a question here.
Further to this, there has been decry over an equal distribution of the machine, yet all the counties made an equal contribution of 200 million shillings.
There was a bit of unfair distribution of MES equipment. Most counties were paying the same amount of money, but you realize some counties actually received much more than others. We have counties that have received the same equipment as Kajiado, but they have an ICU, they have a CT scan here, they have, and there are counties that got very little of that equipment. So we feel as counties that there was not very fair distribution of the MES equipment.
If not, then it starts accruing what?
While the MES project is a blessing, it is feared to be a short-term project as the terms of engagement are not clear after the 7 years of usage are done.
We are also anxious about the terms of the contract. There is no clarity on the future terms. The way they were negotiated, including what happens at the end of the 7 years. Is it that they are going to take away the equipment? Are we going to have, another negotiation again? Are we going to buy the equipment? We don't know what really will happen. The other thing is that there are parts of the MOU that have not been implemented.
No, she isn't.
Health equipment maintenance is another key area that came up with experts arguing that they are not being properly taken care of, thus reducing their lifespan and efficiency.
And that is why now we are seeing our health is deteriorating every day. We are not addressing what is this that is being used to measure you, like a blood pressure machine. Has it been checked? Has it passed the quality? How frequent is it being maintained? Who is that person maintaining that machine? Is there a certification to indicate that an engineer or a technician has certified that this equipment has passed the calibration test? When was the last time the meter which is being used to calibrate that machine, when was it last calibrated? So those are the things that this contract has put in place. We have to indicate to them our calibration cycle, which company we use for doing calibration of that test instrument, and when is it done and who is doing it.
The actual difference is making in the lives of people who are seeking health care.
The county government's representative during the forum went ahead to emphasize the importance of data sharing, further reaffirming their commitment to make the healthcare sector work for the benefit of Kenyans.
The sharing that has been done by our brother from yes. So you can see it is possible to share information and to improve on what is being done in the spirit of participation. So we look forward as county governments to have a deeper engagement in terms of making sure that there is value addition brought by this equipment to healthcare delivery, that the intergovernmental relations are cemented for the good of Kenyans, and that there is efficiency in the manner in which we are using our investment in the health sector.
As the country throws all in the ring towards the attainment of universal health coverage, there is need for more public engagement and awareness so as to finally realize the dream with a system that works for all.
National Health Service will not
Welcome back to the most comprehensive, exclusively business news bulletin in the country. And now let us turn to matters women in business. The Organization for Women in International Trade Conference 2018 was held today at the Intercontinental Hotel, Nairobi. The theme of the event was Bridging the Gap and Empowering Women Businesses to Go Global. Among the key issues addressed were the processes of going global and accessing international markets. Take a look.
Help you become an international businesswoman, and it's an opportunity for you to grow.
Many a times, an entrepreneur's dream is to globalize their business. However, most make the mistake of packing their bags and ferrying their businesses to international markets only to be met with the shocks of their lives. This is the very mistake Flora Mutahi, CEO Melvin's team, made, and from her experience shared tips and tools on how to go global the right way.
Talk about your company, select your market, check out your product, do your pricing. What is my market entry penetration? What is my promotion strategy? What is my action plan? And do I have the competencies internally to take my product externally? Do a desk research. Where are these needed? Who likes this? Who buys this? Export Promotion Council have those statistics. Google has some statistics. Come to OIT. There are a lot of organizations that help us. The second one is go to Gemba. Gemba is the floor. If you can afford it, and there are enough organizations that have grants and things that tell you, let's go for export, go. With your next family holiday, go to the country where you think you want to try and export. Try and see, walk into a supermarket, take pictures. Ask yourself, if I put my product next to these products, would it work? Or would it not? Go to expos. You know these things that take a lot of time. Oh, come here. And sometimes you don't have to always go to expos outside. Go to the ones that are here. Most countries now are actually looking at Kenya. You know, Kenya is the hub. Africa is going to be the next hub for the world. So a lot of countries are coming here. Go to those expos and ask yourself, if this person is trying to sell a pullover that I have, would mine compete? That is also a lot of market research. And guys, these days, the easiest way to get into doing a business is it's from the bottom up, which is called design thinking.
However, to go global, you need to position your business favorably for the global market. Banu Khan, program analyst UN Women, noted that for any business to succeed globally, it must have done that locally and put in place the right kind of policies.
We need to put our house in order. For me, it's the fundamental. Start local, have a very strong business foundation, put all the checks and balances in place. But as women, I cannot emphasize this more. The markets are there. That is the end if you look at it as a continuum, that's the end. That's where we want to be. We want to sell, and we want to sell for a profit, and we want to make sure that that market exists so that we can have continuous orders over and over again. But the beginning is what we have ignored, the beginning of the equation, where you have to build a very strong business foundation with systems, structures, policies, because the global buyers are looking for business owners who have certain policies in place that they want to really be part of. What are these policies that I'm talking about? Nowadays, you'll be surprised. They want to see that you have sexual harassment policies in place. The whole world is talking about Me Too, isn't it? You say, look at the neighbor and say, Me Too. Yeah, Me Too. That is the global language. They want to know. They want to know, is your business, does it have fair trade certification? Because this is what makes a woman-owned business competitive in the global market. But we must start local.
Maurice will not close because he's a doctor. He's going to...
The journey to go global is a long and tough one, and women need all the support they can get from all fronts. To this regard, Export Promotion Council CEO Peter Biwott pointed out that the council endeavors to help businesses by building their capacity on this front.
Requirements that you need to meet so that you can satisfy, let's say, the Uganda market or the UK market or the German market. So we do market research because one of the things you need to do is to understand that market.
Okay.
So for every country of this world, we have an analysis. Like now, before we went to Birmingham, we did a very good study. And we realized that for the UK market, they now need, textile products like boys' shirts.
Okay.
They need, those handmade, handbags. They need, this kind of product. And after we had done all our capacity building locally, we had a mini exhibition here in Nairobi at one of the hotels in Nairobi where we selected entrepreneurs who are actually going to showcase their products in Birmingham Spring Fair. And that was not enough. We have been in Dar es Salaam. In Dar es Salaam, we actually went with 6 big corporates and 15 SMEs from various counties. By the time we were leaving Dar es Salaam, True Foods, which is one of our leading companies here, and Kevia had already gotten orders.
So 10,000 is less than 1,000 a month.
Out of every 5 global businesses, only 1 is owned by a woman. Organizations such as OWIT hope that by holding forums such as this to help women bridge the gap, sooner than later, statistics will begin shifting in women's favor.
We love you here, welcome you here, and
the Kenyan population is a young one, majorly comprised of those below 35 years of age. However, despite the rising cases of unemployment amongst the youth, only a handful of them have dared to go the entrepreneurial way and ventured into agribusiness. Our reporter Karari John attended a session of the Continuing Forum Biannual Conference at the KICC, which was themed Harnessing the Africa Youth Bulge, Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Agribusiness Incubation. Take a look.
Accelerate engagement of Africa.
Although Kenya has enjoyed relatively high economic growth rates over the past decade, formal job creation has been lower than the rate at which the labor force is growing. Challenges still remain on bridging the gap between economic growth and job creation. Deputy Director General, Research of International Crops, Research Institution for the Semi-Arid Tropics, Dr. Kiran Sharma, pointed out that African youth should be empowered through creation of opportunities.
It is important for the member universities.
Africa has the largest, youngest population in the world. The question is, how do you harness their energies? How do you provide them opportunities so that they don't get stray? So you need to look at various options in terms of innovation, in terms of how to engage them in agriculture. Now, agriculture is one of the largest businesses in the world, and also for Africa, it's the biggest earners. But how do we create new opportunities so that these youth continue to stay in agriculture? And this will happen only when you create entrepreneurship options. The youth may not like to work in the farmer's field, but they might be happy in doing an agri-based business. This could involve primary processing.
CEO and founder Safi Organics, Samuel Rigu, explained how the youth can be involved in the attainment of African Agenda 2063.
The youth account for the biggest group or the biggest bulk of the population here in Kenya and also in Africa. And it is the high time that the energy and the vigor in the youth is incorporated towards the attainment of this agenda. Because with innovative minds and very creative ideas, innovation becomes key for the youth. And in spite the sector of agribusiness not being so sexy to the youth, it's the high time we turn it to become appealing to the youth through ICT and also engaging the youth from the basic level and understanding their needs towards the agenda, towards the fulfillment of the agenda.
With empowerment initiatives by the government like the Uwezo Fund aimed at providing capital to youth group, the question begs, is finances the only thing the youth need?
Particularly to develop skills.
The problem is not so much on the funding, but on the mentorship. Because the youth needs to be mentored to understand the dynamics of business, to understand what is required to have a successful enterprise running. Otherwise, you can't furnish a youth with money and they will get up. Just as they say, credit is fungible. You may end up using it for the different purpose. So it is a very, very important part where we provide the finance. We also provide a mentorship program or a mentorship to these young people so that their mind can be tuned, they can be fine-tuned to business.
After 1 year of development,
Youths should be at the center of the development agenda of not only Kenya but Africa at large. This can only happen if they take up their position and all relevant stakeholders do their bit in supporting them to realize their full potential. Reporting for Bramplus TV, I am Kara John Wambugu.